player. She's now a basketball analyst, Teresa Mac-Dangosu. She joins us from Lagos. Of course, Teresa has been on the show a couple of times. She has played with a number of the Tigress players, so she's quite familiar with the squad. Teresa, good to have you on the show again. I recall that you were on the show when we won the AfroBasket for the 5th straight time last year, when the federal government also promised that these ladies were going to receive a house, $100,000 ON and all of that. What do you make of the federal government fulfilling this pledge yesterday in France?
Thank you for having me once again. Good morning, Mr. Samuel. I think it's a great thing to see that the government has finally responded to the D-Tigress based on the promises made last year. And this is a huge reward for their hard work. I mean, 5 times back-to-back championship in the AfroBasket, and great performances at the Olympics, and now in preparation for the World Cup as well. This is good. This is great motivation, especially now that we're going to be playing Germany today, the last game for the qualifiers. It'll be a huge motivation for them, and hopefully this pushes the players to give their all in this last game. And also it's a motivation for other players also who are looking forward to playing for the national team. And sports is a very lucrative business. It's a very lucrative thing for people to push their kids, to push their children to be involved in, because it does a whole lot for the society in terms of forming the minds of children and redirecting them to the right purposes and all of that. So this is a huge promise made and kept by the federal government, and I'm sure the ladies are very excited. I mean, we could see from all the pictures and all of that, the videos as well, they're very grateful. And good one by the presidency.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great one. August last year, this is March, and I'm happy that the ladies have received their reward. And Chairman of the NSC, Shehu Diko, also did mention that the $100,000 will soon land in the players' accounts. I'm sure they are looking forward to that when, of course.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, definitely. Now, let's talk about the game against Germany this evening, 5 p.m. Nigerian time. Our girls, of course, 2 defeats so far right there at this competition. South Korea and France were the teams that have defeated us. We've beaten the Philippines. We came from behind to do that. Then we dominated Colombia in our first game. What do you make of our performance so far? And then as we go against Germany, we've already qualified for the World Cup. I mean, but you have to look at the rankings. It's an opportunity for us to get some ranking points. It can also be like friendly games to prepare for the World Cup. What are you expecting against Germany this evening? What areas do you think this squad needs to improve on as we prepare for the World Cup?
So far, our performance has been up and down, as we already know. The first game, Colombia, of course, we came in strong, beating Colombia by, over 40 points or around 40 points. Germany as well, they've already qualified, and we have as well. Based on their performance, they have, already booked their slot. Our game, the second game, was a really, questionable game against Korea. We struggled in that game, and it just revealed a lot of things. How, of course, the same story of unpreparedness going into competitions, and hopefully things will be done differently as the girls prepare for, or as the ladies prepare for, the World Cup proper. Our game against the Philippines was also we dragged a little bit, but eventually we were able to come up top, winning that game by 101 points to their 84 points. And then, of course, we played against France, which was an interesting game. I know I made mention of the fact that every time we play France, we would always have an interesting game. It will always be a battle. I mean, they're number 3 and we're number 8. So the point difference at the end of that game was impressive on our part because France has beaten everybody in this group by over 20 points. And we are the only team that they were able to just win by 7 points. And at some point in that game, it was even cut down to just 1 point. And the presence of Amy Okonkwo in this game was felt. We didn't see her in the last game, in the game against Philippines, but she came in strong as we needed her, especially after Macaulay, had that injury and had to uh, leave. Hopefully she's fine, and we'll see her in this game against Germany today. But yeah, they've had ups and downs, and that has to do with the preparation coming into the World Cup, and any other things like maybe the players on the team and all of that. But hopefully we'll get to see, like I said, some changes in the roster for the World Cup. I mean, yesterday we saw that one of the players on the team that have represented Nigeria back to back in so many competitions and is the only player in Nigeria that has 5 AfroBaskets. Sarah Ogoke retired, and she has been exceptionally great. She has been an amazing, addition to the team ever since she joined the Nigerian national team, the Tigress. And it's great to see, how much she has brought into the game, how much so many players have learned from her, and the legacy that she leaves. She's a legend, she's a doctor, she's a mom, and it was just amazing, seeing her play all these years and now retiring. I mean, basketball, sports itself is, um, only lasts for a certain amount of time, and a time will come where a player has to retire. And I think this is a
Okay.
good time for her to do that. So hopefully, yeah, we will see a good performance against Germany, who are number 12. And I mean, we rank higher than them,
And
so
yeah.
hopefully we'll get to see that we do better.
Okay, now, well, a major talking point for a lot of people so far in our 4 games is that we've struggled to convert our 3 pointers. We can't get enough 3 pointers. And if you look at the 2 games that we lost, South Korea, France, that appears to be what our opponents capitalize on. The World Cup is a different ball game to the AfroBasket. We are number 8, like you rightly mentioned. And looking at the squad so far, in your own honest opinion, do you think that Coach Rena Wakama should perhaps also see if she can get 1 or 2 other players to add to this squad before we get to the World Cup in September?
Certainly, there's always room for improvement. There's always room for development, and basketball is a progressive game. So people will come and go, just like Sarah Ogoke is, retiring now. So definitely, that is an open slot for another player. With how we've been shooting lately, it's not been super, impressive. It's not been our best, you know. So hopefully we'll get, players who will come in and score. We need players who will come in and score, players who, when they take out a player like Ezine Kalu or a Macaulay, and that player comes in substituting them, they can score. Because we don't want a situation where, the experienced players step off the court to take a little rest, and then the players that come in are unable to score. So that would not be good for us. So I think Coach Reina, based on her experience, based on having coached with the Chicago Sky WNBA and in the Unrivaled in the WNBA in America, sorry, and also, her experience with the ladies already on the Tigress team. I'm sure she also has her eyes open for players that she thinks would fit into, that role perfectly as scorers for the D Tigers. Because honestly, that is what we need. We have, pretty good amount of players inside the paint. MJ, Murjana Musa, Palasa, Akbana, Blessing Ejiofor. We have these players inside the paint who are dominant, who are doing pretty well. So we need players at the top, because now we lost a Sarah Ogoke who is a guard. So we need players at the top who would come in, or players who can do both, in and out, who can score inside and outside. That's what we need. So scoring is an issue that I've seen so many posts and so many comments, and it has been an issue with us, just dilly-dallying during games and unable to score easy baskets or have our own flows, because it's basketball is a game of runs. So
Yeah.
sometimes we struggle to get our own runs. So hopefully we're able to bring in new players um, and during the proper World Cup, and just do better in terms of scoring.
Okay. Before you go, let's touch base with Sarah Ogoke's retirement now. I think the game against Germany today will most likely be our final game. I think that should be our final game for the D Tigress. The only woman, just like you mentioned, who has won 5 AfroBasket women's titles. Of course, my director will show up a visual so that we see this 36-year-old who made her debut for Nigeria in 2011. Like you also mentioned, she's a mother, she's a medical doctor, combining that with basketball, winning 5 Afro baskets for Nigeria, such a remarkable feat, considering what she has done. She first played at the 2011 All Africa Games in Mozambique. Then she was at the FIBA Women's Afro Basket in Mali, and a couple of other tournaments she has played for Nigeria. Now, in your own opinion, Teresa, what will be the legacy that you think Sarah is leaving as the captain of the D Tigress, or former captain now, because Amy Okonkwo is the captain now? And you think, how do you think her story can inspire young girls around the country? Someone might be watching this morning and they have a young girl, a teenager who is in secondary school, who loves basketball or is playing any other type of sport. What do you think that Sarah Ogoke's story can do to some of these young girls watching the show as we speak?
So first of all, I want to say congratulations again, and thank you, Sarah Ogoke, for your service to Nigeria, to the D Tigress, to the national team. You have been impeccable. You have been amazing. You have been, great. Your story, Sarah Ogoke's story, is a story of resilience, a story of, never say never, a story of the Nigerian spirit of, we can do anything that we put our minds to do. Nigeria, I know they carry last, and she is somebody that has been there. I think the first time I was invited to the national team was in 2013, and that was the first time I met Sarah Ogoke. And she was amazing. I can vividly remember her just showing me some things that she thought I needed to work on as a player, ball handling and all that stuff. So I think a person like Sarah could come into Nigeria if she, has the time, because of course, we know she's a doctor, so we know how busy that, profession is. But then if she has the time, it'll be great for her to come back and impact on the young ones in Nigeria, try to coach them, try to talk to them about her experience. I mean, she has the experience, she has everything that every player would be looking for to have. She has succeeded as a basketball player, succeeded as a student, succeeded as a doctor. Yeah, now she's a mom. She's an all-round, well-rounded person in terms of both sports and then everyday life. So I think her impact is definitely felt by the younger ones. They are watching, they're seeing what is going on. There are posts and videos everywhere. I mean, the games are still going on and all. So she's a great role model, and somebody that I think every young player in Nigeria and Africa and even beyond should look up to, and have it in their mind that I can go to school, I can do well as a student, I can be who I want to be, and I can still be exceptional on the basketball court. So I think Sarah is just an amazing player for Nigeria, and a lot of players that are on the team, that have been on the team with her during her younger years on the team, can attest to that. And it's just great to be alive and see this happening for her and her transition outside of playing for Nigeria. So we wish her all the best. I personally wish her all the best, and I hope that we'll continue to hear from her. Who knows? Maybe she can come in as one of the medicals doctors for the national team. Okay. There is room for that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Also, one of course, an happy retirement to Sarah Ogoke right there. I'm also proud when at the end of the Colombia game, some of those French children, I mean, they were coming for autographs from the Tigress players. It was really great. It was a proud moment for me as a Nigerian. So hopefully our girls can do well against Germany today. Then we watch out for the World Cup draws, and hopefully the NBBF can sort out their issues and have a solid preparation for our team. Sadly, time not our friend. Sarah, I won't allow you to talk about NBBF this morning. We are waiting for FIBA to rule and tell us if Musa Kida's tenure has ended or if it will be till October. But it's currently in France anyway with the team. Thank you so much, Teresa, for your time. Do have a beautiful stay in Lagos, and have a great one also. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Adeleke. Thank you.
Yeah. So that was Teresa Mac-Dangosu, former professional basketball player. She used to be the Tigress player, actually. She's now a basketball analyst. And like she rightly mentioned, if you allow your children to play sport alongside education, there's so much they can do with sport, even when they've retired. You can go into sports commentary and a couple of other things. So all the best to Sarah Ogoke anyway.